Okay, this is No Man's Sky, and this is with the next generation update, and you will see why I have named this planet Mordor. We'll have a look at it. If I can get out of this menu, everything seems to have locked up. That's better. Now, the one thing that they've done in the update is make much more elaborate planets, much more detail, and much bigger scale. Now, I've landed in this planet, and my starship is, well, it's got to be a few thousand feet below, because this planet is, well, from what I've seen, this is what it's like. I mean, this is just awesome. The mountains are huge. This is a lot more to scale than what the original No Man's Sky was like. The mountains in No Man's Sky previously were barely a couple hundred feet high on the tallest ones in whatever planet you'd find them, but these things here are thousands of feet tall. And I mean, the drop, I mean, there's my starship, it is down there somewhere, and those flying creatures are still thousands of feet above the starship. Now, if you want an idea how far the starship is below me, let's have a little look at this. And the starship isn't at the bottom of the valley. We've landed on what I could describe as the only flat point that I could find, and we are still not at the bottom of the valley. You now look at where we've came from, up there. Some of these are quite angry, these creatures. But if we go over here and we look down here, the valley is down there. And let's just make us a run for it. And now you can't see where we've come from. Remember, we were at the top of the mountain and those flying creatures were way below us. Now they're way above us, and we're still not at the bottom of the valley. So what I'm basically saying is, if you find a planet like this, now this planet is called a desert, I think it's called a desert planet, and from space it just looks sandy. It looks like the Sahara Desert from space, until you land on the planet and find it's well, it is like Mordor, especially at night. If you've ever seen the Lord of the Rings films. But if you look down there, we are still thousands of feet above the valley. It's absolutely enormous. It is huge, the mountain range. and these peaks are pretty nigh vertical. You can use your jetpack to climb up them, but you're far easier finding whatever small flat area you can find and calling your starship. Yes, we're still heading down to the valley. And finally we have reached the bottom of this huge mountain range, and you've seen how far we had to go from up there to get down here. It is really huge. So let's see if we can call the starship. And let's go and have a little fly around. Obviously just takes a matter of seconds to get back up to where we were. So we're now making our way up to the top of the peaks. Then everything should open up. Now daylight is, it looks as if it's beginning to go, so you'll see fairly soon what it looks like at night on this planet. Now we're almost making re-entry there. That's how high we are in these mountain ranges. We are just right up at probably now in the highest part of the atmosphere. Some clouds are still above us, but you can see that these peaks are almost getting there. And now we've headed to night. Now the only thing that's missing is some volcanic activity, and then it would be like Mordor. It would be like a scene out of the movie. But it's already frightening enough without the volcano. Now where do you land here at night? I mean, you tell me. It's absolutely amazing. Now the only thing I haven't done in No Man's Sky for a long time is go back to my original planet, or the one where I first set up my base, which is a long way back in the first galaxy, the Euclid galaxy. I'm now in the second galaxy, and I have not been back to my own planet for a long time. We are many thousands of light years away from it, but I'm going to go back first of all to see if my base is still there and see what it looks like, whether it's still in one piece, whether there's anybody has discovered it. It'd be interesting to see, and it'd also be interesting to see how the building has improved, or how the structures have improved in this new update, and how expansive it is going to be, because in the trailer it shows you some quite elaborate constructions, more like a town than just a home base, and I might take a look at that. But first of all, I need to warp back to my base, and I'll do that at some point. Now I think we're getting back to daylight. Seems like quite short nights here in this godforsaken planet, but it's certainly worth letting you see it, because it's probably the biggest detail change I've seen on a planet as far as the scale of the mountains go. It's gone on the epic scale from just a sort of ordinary scale that we've been so used to since this game came out. So there doesn't seem to be any flat areas in this planet at all, other than little tiny spots that you can barely land a starship in, and you've got to pick and choose them. You certainly won't be landing on top of a mountain, because they're all ragged, jagged peaks. You've got to make your way up there. But if you're lucky, you might find a sort of a very slight plateau area that you could land on, like maybe down there, or maybe not. You'll soon find out whether you can land. There we are. Just a small area that you can land on, but you've got no, unless you have crampons and all the mountaineering equipment that you're ever going to need, you'd never get to the top of these things. So one final look at my new planet Mordor with respect to J.R.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now that's as far as he's going to go, unless we just use a jetpack and hop our way up. Oh, we've got something that's like a cactus up here. Well, there you go. I suppose without that being volcanic, that could be Mount Doom. So No Man's Sky is going on an epic scale now. It most certainly is, and this is more than evident when you look at this planet here.